Today is Friday the 13th, specifically June 13th, Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th in general tends to be a relatively notorious day for a lot of reasons. Also, I look more sunburnt than I actually am. I did spend my day outside, but it looks really bad on the camera, but I promise it's not that bad. I don't feel it. It appears to be a very notorious day for a lot of people. Some people insist that it is an incredibly unlucky day. Friday the 13th, if you see a black cat on your path, you're going to die in 6 days or something to that measure. Some people insist that it's a very lucky day. I know for me, in my family, as an Italian American, Friday the 13th is lucky. It is a birthday of one of my ancestors, so he's getting some special treatment today, of course. And it's also a day that represents luck in a lot of ways, at least for me and my family. I don't know if you're Italian American or Italian and Friday the 13th is unlucky for you. Let me know down in the comments. I feel like the consensus I've tended to receive is that Friday the 13th is considered lucky in at least Italian American diasporic culture, but that may just be a familial thing. That may be just the people I'm talking to about it, but it is, for me, a super lucky day and a day where a lot of workings take place because it is the perfect time to do any work to catch your luck, the perfect time to do any workings for money, for success, and on the other hand, it is the perfect time to lay some work down to make someone else have a very unlucky Friday the 13th, aka baneful work. You don't have to do baneful work on Friday the 13th. I guess for me, I feel like because one of my most cherished ancestors' birthday is Friday the 13th, plus the Italian American kind of Friday the 13th is lucky. I feel like if I am to turn someone's luck, I will be and have the luckiest time at turning their luck sour by doing it today. Because I have that kind of dual-sided two different ways that Friday the 13th is really lucky for me. This video is not to tell you that Friday the 13th is lucky or unlucky, but it's just to share a little bit of my practice and kind of when one of these traditional lucky days or a day that represents luck to me comes around, how I spend my day and what I spend my day doing. I spent most of the day at the cemetery and it's getting late now. So you're going to see a lot of cemetery work, some kind of magical workings. I'm making planning my new luck oil in bocca al lupo, and that's being made today. However, I just thought it would be fun to vlog an entire day where most of what I'm doing is magical workings, because I think that a lot of folks are like, oh, Friday the 13th, it's so unlucky, it's such a terrible day, and I've never had that experience. I feel fantastic on Friday the 13th. I've never had an issue with it, and that's, like I said, probably a little Italian American thing, probably a little bit of a ancestral thing, but yeah, we're gonna be honoring one of my most beloved ancestors today on his birthday. He got coffee this morning. I'm going to make him a little drink tonight. I'm going to go get him some good ice cream because he loves ice cream. None of that non-dairy shit, And I also got a package, which I'm really excited for. And this was sent to me by Venelestis. Venelestis is a creator on Instagram who makes botanical oracle decks, and she offered to send me some, and I'm really excited. So this is the Venelestis Venelestis visionaria, the Venelestis caelestis, the Venelestis medicatrix, and the Venelestis fungorum mini oracle. Maybe this video will extend. I think that starting off and just doing a full video on my Friday the 13th is a great idea, but I don't know if I got enough footage today for that. So maybe it's the weekend of Friday the 13th, although I'm not going to be able to do a lot of vlogging tomorrow for reasons. We'll just see where this goes and what this looks like. But yeah, I will be taking some B-roll of these guys. I'm really excited to get to work with them. I was super excited because it felt like there were a lot of plants that I knew when I saw pictures of it. And I think we just hit the hour of Saturn, which means I gotta scoot. But I will talk to y'all later. at that long tooth. This is rabbit skull. What I'm looking for is basically toe bones right now. They're all at the bottom, which means I gotta go get a container for I keep processing. They're not quite done yet. They still have a bit of degreasing to do, which is okay. You can kind of see like the white stuff. It's marrow, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but I am kind of getting the vibe that it's not quite done yet. But like, look at this jaw. And so if the teeth have kind of popped out of the jaw, what I'll probably do is I'll super glue them back in. I'm not going to be articulating this guy. I'm just kind of minding my P's and Q's. Is this a bone? Happy summer solstice. You'll get to see a few of the things that I got up to today, but most of you actually voted for on my Instagram and my impromptu poll. I'm doing a garden tour for the summer solstice, and I am much obliged. I love my garden. I've been tending to it very dearly, so this will probably be more of like a yard tour than a garden tour, with a view of like my potted plants and everything. I'm very excited to show you guys, but before we get started, I wanted to take a moment and just kind of put a call to action out there. If you're located in the so-called United States and you aren't aware, the House just passed H.R. 1, which is the One Big Beautiful Bill. Not only does the One Big Beautiful Bill basically allow and put over I think it's 250 million acres of public land up for sale. That is, just hiking spots and nature, but also opens it up for mining and drilling. It opens up the sale for cultural and historic sites, especially those of certain indigenous groups. If you're enjoying the solstice, if you enjoyed this video, instead of telling me about you can please tell me what you're doing for the summer solstice. But if you are a witch, if you are a folk practitioner, if you work with land spirits in any way, if you believe in land back and indigenous sovereignty, if you believe in any of those things, I am urging you to call your senators and beg them, literally multiple calls a day if possible, to every senator you have. Beg them not to pass this bill. I say this as a witch. I say this as someone who has a relationship with the land I live on. I say this as somebody who moved to Colorado for the beauty of the land. The care that many folks in California and Idaho, in Colorado, have for lands, public land, whether or not you're a spiritual person is huge. Public land should not be for sale. A lot of these places are, like I said, cultural and historic heritage sites, hiking trails, hunting grounds that are public that they want to monetize, all for a tax cut for billionaires. If you are watching this video, if you enjoy the solstice, if you have a relationship with the land that you're on, I am pleading with you to take time today when you see this video and call your senators. The more calls you make, the higher up on the thing that they get. So if you make 3 calls or multiple people in a day make a call being like, hey, I oppose this bill, it becomes more of an issue that they pay attention to. And I want this to be an issue that they pay attention to. And I, for one, don't have a huge amount of faith in our government system as it is. And I don't think you should either. But I do think that when we have a chance to speak our minds and make a difference and say, hey, I really don't like this, we should. I think that we can make a difference in our local communities and our local city councils. I think we can make a difference in our state level. Calling is better than writing because they'll hear your voice, you'll talk to someone, it'll be moved up on the list. I really, really encourage you to do this. This is my call to action. Happy summer solstice. Let's come together and protect the public lands. Welcome to my first part of my garden. My neighbors are out, so you may hear some kiddos in the background. You guys even... So we have a lot of new faces in the garden this year. Dude, get it out of here. As you can see, we switched to balls instead of sticks after the incident. This is some wild lettuce hanging out here. We have so much wild lettuce growing in our yard that I'm hopefully going to be able to make a tincture with it soon. So just kind of getting started. Here is my mugwort. You actually can't see her because she's so small right now. This is my first year attempting to grow her. Over here we have my Tulsi. These are just Ace Hardware buckets that Ethan drilled holes into because they were less expensive than pots. This is hopefully going to be vervain. Growing back so I can make a vervain tincture finally. This is my yarrow, which I planted this year because it didn't grow back last year, and she's doing pretty well. This is a plant. This is St. John's wort. She's actually small enough that you can see her. She's so cute. This is lemon balm that Olivia gave me that probably needs to be repotted. We also have lemon balm growing in the yard, and so the problem is that lemon balm is technically invasive, so I'm going to pull it out, but I have to wait till it's big enough that I can use it. This is my belladonna and my catnip, which is by far doing the best out of all of them. I'm actually real surprised. We also have catnip growing in the front of our yard, which I totally did not expect. Other plants that you may notice are some bindweed. This is fantastic for use in spell work. It is an invasive plant. You can see it's choking out the grass, but it's also really potent for bindings, for any work with siphonings or taking energy from somewhere and feeding it to somewhere else. It's overall just kind of a pain in my ass sometimes, but I have come to love her and respect her. She usually stays in this corner, doesn't really go anywhere else. But yeah, we're going to be scooting to the other side of the garden now. This is the second part of the garden. This has the most in-ground plants. We do have creeping bellflower over here. There's a lot of bugs. Bless you. This is my bee balm, one of my bee balms that's in the ground. These are all native plants, all poppies, California poppy, other types of poppies, all kind of in this area. And we have some more kind of growing that way as well. We have lemon balm, which, like I said, I know is invasive. So I am planning on tearing it out, but it is something that is usable. So I do try to wait until it's completely grown to pull it out. On top of that, it's also it's not fighting with the poppies. They're growing in the same area. This is my singing nettle. This is one plant that's doing really well, and it looks like she's also growing in this plant as well, which is a nice surprise because I was not expecting her to take off like that. So yeah, we have a bunch of poppies that just kind of appeared out of nowhere. My bee balm, which is doing real well, really tall grass, but I've instructed Ethan not to mow this area, so that means the grass doesn't get caught either. These were plantain and chamomile last year, and they're no longer that, which is okay. Like I said, singing nettle's kind of popping up there. This guy I transplanted as she was, coming back, so I am trying to tend to her pretty carefully, and I'm waiting for my California poppies to bloom. And this is the lilac tree that you're probably going to see in the back of a lot of my videos. This is one of my favorite areas of the garden. Once again, lawn of bindweed. Down here we have hyssop, which is finally flowering. I'll see if I can get a nice little shot of her. We also have more creeping bellflower, which I'm constantly fighting with. Yeet. You can't see her, but over here there's some mallow. She also grows over there, and this is the infamous bone bucket, where I grow and tend to my bones. Last time I checked, there were maggots in here, but I'm not sure if there are maggots anymore. Last part of the garden. This is my raised bed, aka my pride and joy. You're a bit tilted, I think. Hold on. We're just going to go through and talk about some of the herbs here. We have tomatoes on either side. This is a stick. Thyme throughout the middle. Lettuce on one side. Thyme or green onion and onions and green onions over here. And then you won't be able to see it, but I'll take some B-roll. But there's bee balm all throughout here. I don't know if all of it's going to make it because it's been a hot summer, but it is here. Sir, not on the onions. I don't know when I'm supposed to harvest onions, if I'm being honest. This is an evening primrose plant that's native, and some chamomile, which I also don't know if it's going to survive. I think the stark difference between, like, the tomatoes thriving over here and the thyme and the lettuce thriving, and then my other plants on this side and how small they are, is very funny. But this is my raised bed. Ethan built this for me. The goal is to have tomatoes soon. I don't know when they're supposed to come. I think later in the summer. But I did stop watering them because I was a bit worried they were getting a bit yellow. And this is, of course, Diana's tree. A lot of people tend to ask me, how did you decide it was her tree? Can you see my face? It's the only pine tree in the yard, and pine tends to be a plant that she likes. I did originally just set things on the tree. Eventually I made this little stone altar, which is literally just a pile of bricks with a rock on top of it. I like a pile of stones over here that I pulled from to make it. So when I'm doing workings with her, I may bring the working out here for a little bit. I tend to not put a bunch of offerings that could harm the land on her altar on her tree. It's an outdoor altar. I am going to be moving her statue out like sometime, probably tonight, for the Nemorrhalia upcoming, because an outdoor altar is always good. And that's kind of the plan, is I'm going to be charging things here, offering things here. But yeah, the choice in making this her tree was really just like, it is the only pine tree in the yard. I'm like, do you want this to be your tree where I give you stuff? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, cool. So this is the altar that I tie things to. You've seen probably a lot of TikToks or videos where I'm in this area with the tree. That's because it's where I go to talk to Pine, the spirit, but also Diana. Let's get some B-roll of plants now for you guys. Yeah.